The Fall Line is a true crime podcast covering the coldest cases in the southeastern United States and occasionally beyond. We focus on the missing persons, the unsolved murders, and the unidentified does that don't get media attention. Empathetic and intensively researched, The Fall Line will take you on deep dives into unsolved cases that you've never heard of and make you wonder why you haven't. Find us wherever you listen to podcasts.
Do you love rom-coms? Do you wish you could talk about Christmas movies year-round? Then we have the perfect podcast for you, Hallmarkies Podcast. Throughout the year, we cover all things romance, holiday, and Hallmark, including recaps of every Hallmark show, like When Calls the Heart and The Way Home. You can also get loads of bonus content covering shows like Bridgerton, Sweet Magnolias, and Just Like That. We are an all-female group of friends who are passionate for these shows and movies and give our honest opinions as well as gush over what we love so much. But that's not all. Every Monday, there are interviews with all your favorite actors, writers, directors, and more. Check out Hallmarkies Podcast on all your podcast providers and on YouTube. That's Hallmarkies Podcast wherever you listen to podcasts.
Hey, I'm a medium, and this podcast is for those who wish to understand the wonderful world of spirit. Where do we go when we die? I'll share stories of mine as a medium and other mediums in our journeys, plus you will hear real-life client readings so that you can know without any doubt that your loved ones in spirit are around you all the time. I'm Jen, and this is the Singing Medium Podcast. Welcome back to the podcast, you guys. So this one makes me super nervous, and I'm being super honest with you. I don't even know if I'm actually going to post this episode for various reasons. But let me start first by sharing with you a couple of things that some really important messages or guidance for someone who's listening to the podcast, or maybe everyone. So just total transparency. Obviously, you guys know I'm into plant medicine, and I use edibles to sleep. And sometimes, depending on the strain of edible that I'm taking, I take a really low dose, like it's 2.5, so it's not a big deal. But some things can come in sometimes. And last night, I got a lot of things, a lot of downloads, quote unquote downloads. Speaking of downloads, I don't actually like that word download, because when you think of the word download, like if you get like a spiritual download and people are like all about the downloads, if you think about it, or if you really feel into that word, that kind of sounds like you're getting something outside of yourself, right? So if you get this spiritual wisdom remembering inside of you, or this idea or this inspiration or some kind of spiritual guidance that feels differently than it's your own intuitive guidance. So whether you want to call it a spirit guide or whatever you like to call it, it's fine. Your higher self, whatever you want to call where it comes from. If you feel like it's a download, that indicates that it's coming from somewhere above you into you. Okay. So that's something hit me the other day, because I usually say downloads as well too. I don't love that word, but the downloads would indicate, that word would indicate, that energy around that word would indicate that's coming from outside of you, from like this higher source above you, from the sky down into your crown chakra, and then all of a sudden now you have it. But basically what the truth is that it's inside of you already. And I always talk about this, how like years ago, before I even started this journey officially, I always really got triggered and upset, and like my insides twisted in a knot when someone would say, "Oh, the answers are all inside of you." I'd be like, "Shut up!" I didn't really understand that concept, or I didn't remember it, or it wasn't quite online inside of me quite yet. But now I totally get it all, obviously, and I'm not triggered by it anymore, because everything, you guys know, everything's inside of you. And if you're like, for example, looking outside of yourself for happiness or joy, and you're avoiding your pain, and you're avoiding your emotions, and you're avoiding your triggers, and you're just numbing yourself or distracting yourself, there's a lot to unpack there. But if you can make yourself, like, sometimes you have to force yourself to do something, because the resistance is so big that it would not be able to happen if you didn't have the mindset or the power of your mind to say, okay, that's enough. I'm going to sit. You're going to decide. I'm going to sit here for half an hour in silence, sitting up straight, and I'm just going to close my eyes for half an hour. I'm not going to check my phone. I'm not going to go to the bathroom. I'm just going to commit to being inside, going inside of myself. And one of the things of mediumship too, if you've ever taken mediumship classes or you know who Tony Stockwell is, the thing about that is called the sitting in the power. So in order to prepare for a mediumship reading, to connect, I couldn't connect to the spirit world if I'm like, hey, I'm like dancing around and I'm talking to someone and I'm doing the dishes, and who am I kidding? I don't do dishes. I put them in the dishwasher, or making dinner. I don't do that either. But doing all of these external things makes it very difficult for you to have these quote downloads or these rememberings or these intuitive messages when you're busy. The best time for these to happen is when you're sitting in silence. So obviously I take these edibles before I go to sleep. And they haven't been helping me sleep lately. That's why I was taking them, was just to help me sleep. That's not doing it anymore. Like the consciousness of the plant has changed within me. And it's kind of like this is a bad example. Like if you take medication over years and years, it loses its effect, right? So it's kind of like this with the cannabis, is that what I've been taking, or maybe the dose level, or maybe the purpose of the plant has served its purpose. And so it's not quite resonating with me right now, and it's not doing the job that I was hoping for it to do. But again, intelligence, consciousness can't really tell it what to do. You can only set intention. So my intention is always to sleep. Just didn't at work last night. So going back to this, where the answers are inside of you and you get these quote unquote downloads, is like, here's some things that I'm like, oh man, I really got to go down. I couldn't sleep. It was like literally 11:11 at nighttime. And I'm like, I got to go downstairs and write this shit down, or I'm not going to remember what I'm getting. And I was like, they're kind of lame. Like I thought in my head at the time at 11 o'clock at night, they're kind of lame, but I did write them down. So I'm going to share with you, because I'm still avoiding not telling you what I want to tell you. And I'm not sure I'm even going to tell you, but I will sort of give you a little hint, probably, if I'm not brave enough to sort of tell you what I want to say. So here are the things. So I actually wrote down things Spirit says when I'm high. I love this, a new song by the Chainsmokers. You only love me when you're high. That's like the best song. Go listen to it. So there's 3 little blurbs here that I wrote down. So the first one, I actually received this message in ayahuasca, my last ceremony. And it was a big theme in my ceremony, in my sitting on the bed the entire night. So what I heard was, play too small, gotta risk it all. Now, these obviously pertain to me and what's going on in my life right now. But if you're listening to this and it's sort of like knocking you on the inside and it's shaking something up inside of there, and there's like a little shift, you can actually sometimes feel your soul shifting inside of your body. Have you ever felt that? Isn't that the coolest thing? Pay attention to that. So play too small, gotta risk it all. So one of the message I got in ceremony the last time was, I'm playing too small, I'm playing too safe, I'm not risking enough, I'm doing the things like everyone else. Like if you think about it, how many mediums are out there and psychics? There's like thousands upon thousands of mediums, and same for psychics. That's why I stopped doing card readings, tarot reading videos on YouTube, because everyone is doing that, right? That is the mainstream thing now. It's popular, it's cool, and I'm obviously going to still do it. But sometimes when you go through these transformations, Spirit is saying actually mega transformation. There's like a transformation and there's like a mega transformation. Like there's a difference, and I'm currently going through a mega transformation. And yes, it has something to do with astrology too in my chart, but it also has a lot to do with me doing all of the work. So all of the work on me to improve myself and develop myself and understand myself better. That was my intention going into ceremony last time, is to understand who I am, right? And you can't just go, oh, I'm transforming into, this is a mega transformation that's happening. And you guys only know like the stuff I post on social media. You guys have no idea the depths of the transformation that is happening under the surface or in my soul, that I'm hoping to share with you guys, and how it's playing out, how ayahuasca gets her vines in all of my categories of all things in my life, and making it more of an unconditional love, more of a soul divine experience, or I don't even have the words for it, but if you've ever sat with grandmother ayahuasca or mama aya, you'll understand kind of what I'm saying. It kind of like lasts for like 6 months to a year after. Like it's incredible. So play too small, gotta risk it all. Okay, so that's one of the steps they said someone needs to hear that. Then there was stop doing what everyone else is doing, which I just shared with you. So stop doing what everyone else is doing. So I'm about to, according to my astrology chart, there is, and again, when you're listening to this, is going to be the new moon. I believe it'll be April 1st. I think this is going to come out. So according to the energy or the astrology of what's happening in this time when this whole week leading up to the new moon is mega transformation. Like you can probably feel it. So it's Tuesday today. You can probably feel it starting to build up right now. And it doesn't mean you have to leave what you're doing. So I'm not going to leave mediumship. I'm not going to leave I'm not bailing on the spirit world. I'm not doing that, but I am looking at adding maybe other things that will sort of enhance that match that energy of like, stop what everyone else is doing, or playing too small, gotta risk it all kind of thing. Like I'm about to totally risk it all. Like I have no idea how this new project that I'm about to embark on, or trying to get the bravery to click the button to do this is going to affect my business or my relationships or my family or my friends or anyone who has ever come in contact with me and who knows me. And it's very scary, but like I just feel like it's time to do something really. This is beyond out of the comfort zone. Okay, this is like other level, but you'll hopefully see soon. And then the other message that came through is break out of the mainstream. So break out of the mainstream. Okay, breaking out of the mainstream is really important, and that has a whole bunch of levels and layers to that statement, because it's not just breaking out of the mainstream like the norm, what everyone's doing. So we'll use the mediumship thing or the psychic thing, for example. Like I said, there's hundreds of thousands of psychics and mediums out there, and we're all doing the same thing. We're all doing the same thing. Okay. So it's not a copycat version, because we all have our own personalities and essences that we add to that, add our own flair. Our personalities shine through, our styles, our, the way we present these messages are all different. And that's why you might resonate with other mediums and not me. But when I tap into this statement of break out of the mainstream, I also feel like there's a whole other layer to that, like the mainstream media, and then there's the mainstream matrix, and then there's the mainstream what you're doing everywhere, and there's like the roads are all like just driving to work is you know what I mean? It's just, there's just a breaking out of this. Basically sounds very breaking out of the matrix mold, because that matrix word is very overused, I feel like. But just breaking out of your own level of consciousness, really, like just breaking out of it. And ideally, I'm not even microdosing, but the things that are coming out of my mouth right now feel on a microdose level, but it's not actually microdose day. So, because I don't like to mix the medicines together. So, but yeah, so these are very important messages for my listeners who are listening to this short podcast that's going to be out on the full moon. And maybe you're also going through your own mega transformation. Maybe you're going through your own, hiccups. And I feel like the hiccups are getting bigger. So it's like full body convulsions after the hiccups, and then you go to like full blown like epileptic seizure, and then you're like, just, I don't know, it's just so, the word that comes to mind is electrical current. And it's just like we're all plugged in now. Like if you're listening to this, you're probably plugged in. You're plugged into what I'm talking about. You're plugged into these rememberings. You're plugged into the unknown. You're just plugged into this consciousness that is all around us. And it doesn't matter if you're just like, oh, I think that song is for me, or you're like full blown. They're all the same. It's all equal. Everything is equal. Again, no one's better than you, or no one knows more than you. It literally is like everyone has the same encyclopedia set inside of their soul. And some people just choose to read the book, or maybe we're on letter L and some people are on letter A, but we're all equal because we all have the same encyclopedia set inside of us, right? So yes, I'm still avoiding what I'm going to tell you, and I don't know. I'm going to leave it like, basically I have to navigate still how to set a strong boundary, or not crossing a line where my vulnerability becomes too much. Or because being vulnerable, like I have read Brene Brown, but she turns me off now over her last little while. But her research, obviously, in her things that she talks about and knows and has studied and all these things, obviously are 100% truthful and legit. But I'm still working out the details of how, like TMI, how much is TMI, and this energy or this idea or this newfound mega transformation that is like currently like ripping my insides out right now, I feel like has to be something that, like, if I'm going to be authentic and I'm going to be real with you guys and I'm going to share my stories, and I can't just like pick and choose which ones I share and which ones I don't. You know what I mean? Like, obviously I have to be ready, and it's a personal thing, but I like with everything in your life, when you're vulnerable, you help someone, right? When you're vulnerable and you lay it on the line, someone's going to go, oh my God, thank God someone else is like me. Oh my God, thank God I'm not the only one thinking this. Oh my God, thank God I'm breaking this. Jen is breaking this mold too, and this stigma and this, you know, this idea of like whatever. But I will give you a little hint. So it does have to do with Chad, who's my partner. And I'll just leave it at that. But there is a big, humongous vulnerability piece that comes with this new idea that Spirit has given us. Like almost like we've had a green light to do this now. And I'm being told like April is going to be mega transformational for a lot of people. So like out of all the months, if Spirit shows me this big calendar from like January to December, April is like the biggest month, okay, for transformation, for undoing stuff, for undoing programs, for undoing beliefs, and really busting through those limiting beliefs is really going to happen in April. And again, near the end of the year too, like October, November. But May is like, if I look at a calendar in my mind's eye, April is massive. I mean, that could be the astrology, but I'm not sure. But I just feel like this is the time to do it. So just keep your eye out for that, because like my ego's like, do you guys like me? Are you gonna still like me? Are you gonna like not follow me anymore? Like that's total ego. And I also realized remembered yesterday that when your ego gets really, really big, that's a sign that you're about to let a lot of it go. So if you ever see me post a lot of selfies on my Instagram story, elevate.hersoul, I'm doing that. There's a reason. It's because my ego is going through a kind of detachment of a lot of things, including people and the relationships and what they look like, and maybe creating, well, yes, 100% creating new relationships within my relationships and new ways of doing things. And there's like maybe 5 people I can count on one hand who know what's going on in my personal life. And it's like, it's time to just go for it, because I'm playing too small. I got to risk it all. So keep your eye out for that. I will give little hints on my Instagram story. So if you follow me on that, you will get little hints about that. And yeah, thank you for listening again. I hope you are enjoying the podcast. I love sharing everything, but I'm telling you, you can probably feel it in my voice that I'm super nervous. I'm super freaked out. But I feel like I have to risk it all. That's what I talk about, right? You have to risk things, and I can't tell you to risk things or take a chance on, being a medium or these things or whatever, because if I don't do the same thing. So it's almost like I have to go first. I go first and then you can go, because sometimes if I or someone else does something really brave or really scary or like very risky, that energy is a reverberation and it kind of goes out to everyone else. And maybe you'll also be inspired by that, right? Because this is coming from Spirit. So when you're in Spirit, it's inspiring to other people, and it is a highest alignment for all. So all right, you guys, thank you so much for listening. I don't really have any announcements because there are no classes available right now. So we're just going to end it here. And I hope you guys have a wonderful day. And I will see you guys all on the next episode of the Singing Medium Podcast.